Hello and welcome to this Sunday Live where we are going to be pickling, playing with vinegars. If you saw my vinegar episode, then you probably know, or if you've been following, you know that I'm into vinegar. I'm into pickled stuff. I'm into preservation. Whoops, my overhead camera here, too close to me. I love preservation. I love figuring out how to extend the shelf life of food naturally. I, again, love the tanginess of vinegars and pickled foods. So we're gonna do like a intro to pickling. So there's two ways to look at pickling, and we're gonna do one of the two ways. The first way is you can pickle by fermentation, which is how you make sauerkraut. If you were to make sauerkraut at home, you pickle or you ferment through thyme and salt. You use salt for sauerkraut, and you just like let it do its thing. You can also ferment hot sauces. You can ferment pickles. You ferment kimchi, and that just happens by the process of like time, and the fermentation happens and breaks down foods and helps to extend the shelf life, and it's actually good for your gut. Then the second way to pickle would be non-fermented, which is the vinegar pickle, which is what we're going to do today. So we're going to be using vinegar and water and spices and seasonings to basically make a quick pickle. And so we're going to do three things. We're going to do a pickle, just like a pickle, a dill pickle. We're going to make beets and onions and eggs, which is like one of my favorites. Then we're going to make a pickled jalapeno sauce or hot sauce. And I'm going to cook that on the stove and show you. And then if I have time, I'll show you a traditional Dominican pickled onion, which is what we throw over mango or yuca or pernil or roast chicken. It just adds that tanginess. So let's start with our dill pickle. So again, we're pickling here through vinegar. So very easy. I have here a tray of ingredients. We're going to be making pickles. So I'm going to go ahead and slice pickles. Now for pickles, I've only made pickles once before that I canned with some friends. And it was really helpful to have a mandolin to do it because we had a ton of pickles. It was pickles from the farmer's market, or cucumbers rather, from the farmer's market, and we wanted a pickle. And so we had like a big operation. And in order to get stuff going fast, a mandolin works wonders. So let's see if I can actually get a mandolin view here. Can y'all see it? Now, a mandolin demands respect. I might have shared already that I have chopped my fingers on this thing a few times, so you have to be very careful. But what it helps you do is to chop vegetables very quickly and uniformly. So if this is the thickness that we want for a pickle, we can just go at it. I think this is a good thickness, so we're going to just stick to this thickness and slice the pickles. When you're using a mandolin, they usually have like a little a guard so that you don't chop your fingers off. I don't have the guard. This mandolin is so old that I don't have a guard. But what I do is, my trick is that I use the palm of my hand to make sure I'm not like getting rid of a finger that I want to keep. So as we slice these cucumbers, now you can slice these cucumbers any way you want. I'm looking at 3 different cameras here. If you wanted to make them whole, you can make them whole. If you wanted to slice them in quarters, you could do that. I'm making slices today because I've never actually made them this way before. This is a quick pickling, and we're not going to be fermenting, or we're not going to be canning. So it's going to be a pickle that we're going to make very quickly, and it's going to go in the fridge. So, woo! As I get closer to the end, I know you probably are scared watching me do this. Sometimes I get scared watching myself after I've done one of these. So pickles or cucumbers, soon to be pickles, in this bowl. And now, so a brine basically is what you're going to make with the vinegar. And the recipe for a brine, I've seen so many different variations of it, but the one that I like the most is the one that has equal parts water and vinegar. Now, I've seen recipes where you have more vinegar than water. I'm going to do equal parts vinegar and water, and then salt and sugar to taste. I'm going to do no sugar on mine today, but you would want to add sugar if you want a little sweetness. But I'm going to start basically with just a basic half and half water and vinegar. So I'm going to do, the thing about the vinegars too is you can mix your vinegar. So I'm going to do distilled white vinegar, and I'm going to do apple cider vinegar. And so I'm going to do here about half a cup, let's say 3/4 of a cup of apple cider, 3/4 of a cup of white distilled vinegar, and 1.5 cups of water. So I have to go get that. And this is it. That's a pickling liquid. So water and vinegar in here, equal parts, and I'm just gonna put it to simmer. Once it's warm, you want it to be warm because when it's warm, it's when it kind of penetrates the whatever vegetable you're pickling or whatever fruit. So we're gonna get it warm, and you also want it warm if you're gonna add salt and sugar for that to melt. Yeah. So what we're gonna do while that simmers is we're gonna start stuffing our jars. Let me just probably do one. And thinking about how we want to actually flavor this. So the ways that you can flavor this, garlic, herbs, spices, almost any whole spice you can use to flavor it. I'm going to use a pickling mix that I bought a while ago, which has bay leaves, and it has cloves and allspice. It has red chili somewhere in there. So I'm going to use this. But first I'm going to stuff my jar. I don't know if you guys could see. And you want to layer the flavors, right? So I'm not going to just do all pickles or all cucumbers and then the stuff on top. I'm going to just start to layer some of the flavors. I'm going to do dill. And I'm going to do like a few cloves of garlic. And I'm going to keep putting cucumbers in there. And I actually want to make this spicy, so I'm going to use dehydrated Thai chili peppers that I dehydrated and have kept in my cupboard for a while. So they get a chance to shine today. I'm going to just take the stems off and throw them in there, and then go ahead and throw more cucumber, throw a bit more dill, throw some more garlic. Oh yeah. And more. You want to leave some room for the liquid to cover everything. You don't want anything sticking out. So this looks pretty good to me. I don't know what you guys think. That's ready to go. I'm going to leave it there on the side. Put these things away. And then we're going to pickle beets. So beets are my favorites. I cook before I actually pickle. So I think you could do it raw. But I like to put it in the oven, roast it, get it nice and soft, dice it, and then put it in a jar. So we're going to do that now while our pickling liquid is warming up. Put this back. Okay. So I'm also going to pickle with my beets some boiled eggs because I'm a fan. If you don't like boiled eggs pickled, just omit them. I mean, this is just about pickling whatever you want. So if you want to pickle asparagus or broccoli or cauliflower or eggs, have fun. Do it. I'm going to show you how I actually roasted these and peeled them. So I took the beet. I usually put it in a foil paper and put it in the oven for about an hour on 350, depending on how large the beets are. So these are pretty big. And I put them in the oven for about an hour, 350, with the foil paper. And I want to show you how I peel them. So I put them whole. I wash them. Of course, I scrub them. Let me show you here. Looks like there was a scene, a murder scene here with this napkin. Okay, so I cut off the top, and it's easy for me to peel with a nice paring knife kind of along the edge. if you have time, you could probably peel it off and don't take away so much of the meat. Just takes more care. I like to roast it with the skin on. In my mind, it keeps the vegetable a lot more moist, just retains all the juices. And then I peel it after. I also do this with potatoes. I will boil them and then I will peel them kind of like this. And this is what a paring knife is good for. It's to kind of just peel things like this, like you're holding in your hand. Take away any skin. Take away the bottom. I think that looks good. Any edges that look a little bit damaged come off. And then we slice. And you can make the thickness as thick or thin as you want them. I usually do quarters, and today I felt like making rounds. Who knows if they're going to actually fit my jar, but we will find out. And if not, we could just chop them in half and make them fit. I love pickled beets with eggs and with red onion. So we're going to dice a red onion quickly, and I want to show you a new dicing technique. Okay, so my liquid is simmering, more than simmering. So I'm going to just lower it and keep it warm and keep it on low while I keep preparing my ingredients. So for this onion, if you've been seeing me before, if you've noticed anyone chopping onions and they tell you to keep the end, I usually keep the end to dice. When I want to do another kind of slice, I actually take both ends off and I slice from the end here to create like a nice half moon type of slice. Okay, so we're going to do that because that's the way I want the onions and this pickled beets and eggs. When it gets hard to chop, you just lay it down and you keep going. Awesome. Now this is going to go in here. And we're going to stuff our next jar. And we're going to use the same pickling liquid. Okay, we're just going to season it different. We're going to use the same ratio of vinegar and water. And actually didn't add salt yet. I'm going to add some salt. And then we're just going to season it differently. So we're not going to add any of the dill or the garlic to this. Is there a question, babe?
Well, just a comment from Carla Bodner that she loves beets straight out of the can. She learned as a kid to eat them straight out of the can, so she's even more excited about learning how to prepare them.
Yeah.
Fresh like this.
Yeah. I saw yesterday that some people actually pickled beets without like cooking them, and I think I maybe have had them where they're a little crunchy. I like to boil them. This is how I grew up eating beets in DR, like big rounds like this, and they seem to be fitting fine here with our onions and egg. Oh my god, this is so exciting! I look forward to pickled beets and onion and eggs a lot. Probably not normal. Okay, looks like we may get 2 jars out of here. I hope I have enough pickling liquid, but it's so easy. It comes together in no time. Here's our next jar, layered with onions. Now I love beets just as a snack, but also makes a great salad or a garnish, especially when it's pickled, because it brings some of that brininess and that sweetness of the beet. It's just amazing to me. Okay, we have 3 jars with the pickles. Let me wipe down. Okay, so just to review, we've been making a brine for a quick pickle, which you can use to pickle pretty much anything. I'm pickling cucumbers with dill, with chili peppers, with garlic. I am pickling beets with red onions and eggs, boiled eggs. And I have my brine going, which is equal parts of vinegar and water. And we're going to add salt. And if you want to add sugar, you can add sugar. We're only going to add salt today. Let's bring this over here. Let's go ahead and do like about, let's do about a tablespoon of salt. That's about a tablespoon. You can do equal parts sugar, or you can do a bit more sugar if you like your pickles or whatever you're making a little sweeter. So I've added the salt. This thing is nice and hot. Now for a quick pickle, you're not gonna be canning these. If you were to can these, you would have had to like sanitize these jars and make sure they're clean. And you can do that too if you're gonna do a quick pickle. But for a quick pickle, you really don't have to. You can just wash your jars in warm water. And since you're gonna put them in the fridge, you're not gonna put it in your cupboard, it should be fine. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna fill these jars. Or fill as much as we could. There's one. We may have to do more. Ooh. And this will be ready tomorrow. So leave it overnight in your fridge. And I'm short on the pickling liquid, so I have to make more. But then you just throw a jar over that. A lid over that jar. Kind of flip it a few times, put it in your fridge, and tomorrow it'll be perfect. Okay, we're gonna pickle this in a bit. Now I want to show you how to make a pickled serrano, kind of like pickled serrano peppers, like Mexican style. While I make the brine for this, the rest of this cucumber and beets require more pickling juice. So I'm gonna get that going. And I'm eyeballing.
This looks so good, yummy.
Make it! Please make it. So I'm gonna get that heated through, and then I'm gonna move on to make these serrano chilies, which are also gonna be pickled, but we use the cucumbers raw, we use the beets cooked, and for this dish, we're gonna basically cut everything up and cook it with the brine or with the vinegars and water, and then put it in the jar. So here we go. This is a Mexican style serrano pickled sauce or hot sauce. So I'm gonna dice my carrot, and what's really cool about this is that because I'm making it myself, I can use whatever ingredients I have, and I'm using a red carrot, which I think it's cool, a purple carrot. It'll add nice color. I'm first gonna cut this in half so I can lay it flat. And then I'm going to drive my knife down and make quick slices. Okay. And I'm going to sort of warm this up, cook it through with the jalapenos or the serranos. You can do this with jalapenos too. And with onion and garlic. Let's get some garlic in there. Cut the ends off. Okay. So to this, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. This reminds me of the pickled jalapenos that come in a can and have like the chunks of orange in it. It's like it's got some like adobo sauce in it. I don't know what they do, but it's delicious. And this reminds me of that a lot. Okay. As that warms up, I'm gonna cut these serranos So I basically take the stem off. And you can decide here, how do you want it? Do you want it small dice? Do you want slices? I think I'm gonna go for slices. Try to be as uniform as you can, but just so everything could cook the same. And I better not touch my face after this. This is definitely not for my husband, who does not enjoy spicy foods or pickled foods. That's right, this is not at all. I'm going to throw that in the pot, and I'm going to wipe because everything's been really spicy. No what? Oh yeah, this is something that's going to be for guests, not for, well, for me, because I definitely want pickled and spicy, but any leftovers is for guests, definitely not for Doug. So as my carrots and my serranos and my onions and my garlic cook on medium, my pickling liquid for the rest of the jars is coming to a simmer. I'm going to just break up some of these ones that are whole, kind of stuck together, and let that do its thing. So with this recipe, with the serranos, we're going to add the actual spices into the pot. So not in the jar, so we can get some of the flavors into the actual vegetables. There's oregano, there's cumin, there's peppercorns, and that's it. Throw it over. And if you feel like it's too much salt, remember you're pickling, so you're going to need that salt. It's going to be a bit saltier than you think you want it. So for this quantity here, I added about 1.5 teaspoons of salt.
And you will offer to be that volunteer to come and taste the finish.
Oh yeah. Come on over. Okay, so my pickling liquid is finishing up for the rest of these jars. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and grab this and not burn myself. I have to remember to add salt to this. Ooh. This thing dissolved pretty much as soon as I put it in because it's very hot. Look how beautiful. Okay, so you actually could add the pickling spice. I didn't add any pickling spice to these jars right now. I added the spice to the serranos, but if I wanted to add pickling spice, which is a mix of a whole bunch of different things that I mentioned before here, you can add it to your jar as you're filling them. So I'm going to add a little bit of pickling spice to my pickles, and I'm going to just add a little pickling spice to one of two of these jars, because sometimes I do like the pickling flavor, other times, or the spice flavor, other times I don't. So I'm going to just do one with and one without, and top them off. Let me give you this wonderful view. We barely made this one. I'm not too worried again because we're not going to put these, we're not going to can them, and we're not going to put them in the pantry. We're going to put them in the fridge. So I'm going to cover them. If you wanted to can these, you basically, well, I don't know about the eggs. I actually have never canned eggs. But if you wanted to can the beets and the cucumber, you basically would have to boil it. That's the process of canning. And that's another episode, which I don't even know how we would do it. We would do it with the amount of time that we have because it's a long process. But that's it, guys. Tomorrow, these are going to be the bomb. Pickled beets with eggs and onions, pickled cucumbers with spice and garlic and dill, and another beets with onions and and eggs but with no spice. So these are ready. Let's check on our sauce, or on our Serrano sauce, which is not really a sauce. It's more of a just jalapenos or serranos cooked down a bit. This looks great, and I want to show you. I think it's cooked through or enough. You see that? Yep. And to this, I'm going to add half a cup of vinegar and half a cup of water, and there's our pickling mix to preserve these. And I'm going to add, ooh, oh my God. Woo! That pepper is going into my nose and my mouth and my throat. I'm going to do half apple cider again and half white distilled. Ooh. And yummy. And then I'm going to do half a cup of water. Maybe a little bit less water. Again, you could adjust. Oh my God, it's really going in my throat. You could adjust the ratio of water to vinegar if you want it more briny, more vinegary, more vinegar than water. But generally, half and half is good. Now all I need is a jar. I think let's just use, let's see. Let's use this one. So you see our pickling spices in there. Let's see if I can get this in here successfully. Sort of. Did it get into your throat too? It is powerful. Half of it is coming out of my jar. Go back in there. And this is our pickled serrano, carrot, onion, garlic, Mexican style chiles. And that is it, guys. That's how you do it. It takes no time. It's super easy. It's good for you. It helps to extend the shelf life of food. Whenever you see something that's about to go bad, you know, you can save it. You can take those beets that sometimes live a long time in your fridge, put them in the oven, peel them, pickle them, enjoy them. And that's all I have for you today. Oh my God. I will survive.
Edmundo says we can make our own homemade mace.
Mace? Oh, like to, yes we can. With this recipe, shoot, you sure can. That is all I have for you guys today. Thanks for joining and have a great week. Adios. If I could find my outro.